Are we going for low downforce setups, high straight, higher downforce setups, something more balanced? I'm here tonight as Don Racing with Razzle Dazzle. How are you, my friend Razzle?
I'm splendid. I mean, we are here on one of our worst tracks. So we have to do a full quality on that making this game because it's so excited, especially when you're doing league racing. So yeah, we can already see Aaron G coming out on the Inters, but rain looks like it's coming down hard.
Yeah, qualifying has just started, but already seeing some Red Bulls coming out on the qualifying. Both Red Bulls actually, what I'm noticing in Alpine, and now I'm very curious to see how they're gonna go for the setups. We should be having Ethan Patel coming in here in a minute to give us a full weather update. We're gonna find out really where we're going in regards to the race. Is it gonna be a wet race? Are we doing only wet qualifying? So that's also gonna be interesting to look at. So we got Red Bulls going out on their warm-up laps and gonna go out and set up the first time on qualifying.
Yeah, so what's up, Ranger? So I actually am.
He is in here. Well, welcome, Ethan. So we were just talking about Red Bulls going out here and looking at where we going towards this. So, what's the weather looking up right now?
It is torrential downpour in the paddock here. It's going to be like this for the rest of quali, but we're hoping for things to clear up before the rain. Radar says it's going to be clear by the time rain comes, so hopefully we won't have any rain for the race.
We're already seeing an Alpine that went a little bit off track over here at a certain moment. So what are you guys going for, Mr. Patel? Are we going for the highest qualifying position and we're going to deal with the setup as is, or we're going to keep the setup for the race and trying to have the best racing position as possible?
Well, we're hoping for a dry race, so it's Brazil, right? Pretty easy track to overtake at, so I think we can go a dry setup here for sure. I just put my guys here on. We just have to power through qualify and hope that we make it in a good quality position.
All right, we've already got Brennan that's starting out on the fast track over here. Meanwhile, Ethan, we're looking at. I want to just take a look real quick here at the standings. What do you say about your driver standings, and how are you thinking they're doing so far this season?
Difficult start to the season for sure. You know, Christian. It's his first real season ever. He's only raced for 3 months, and he's only had his rig for as long as this season. So it's been the first time he's practicing. Miguel Bro, pretty consistent. Sucks that he's injured right now, so we actually have to have reserves. So we have 2 reserves in right now. We're just trying to fight in the constructors battle. Obviously, Ferrari's been putting on an absolute bangers in D4 with Rigraff and Latifi both having race wins and podiums.
What are your guys' expectations for the rest of the season so far?
We just want a consistent season. We'd obviously hope for P2 in the constructor standings. Obviously, if Ferrari bottled it, which they tend to do, we could probably get P1 maybe. Yeah, we just want to use our academy drivers and get ready for our main drivers to step back up.
All right, thank you for your time, Ethan. I'm sure you guys got a busy qualifying session, actually full qualifying session, so we're only in Q1. Hopefully both your drivers get through in the top 15 here and not get eliminated. So make the Red Bull boys proud, and if anything, we'll holler at you.
We'll see how this goes. Peace out.
Are we seeing a couple yellow flags been going out and around? And we've got El Padron, who's got himself in the Alpine already a first lap, and I'm seeing a mix of inters and wets. I'm seeing most drivers going through on wets. We got B Bride at 122, El Padron at 126. Are the wet tires the quicker tires already?
Yeah, absolutely. The wets are just showing they've got more traction, but they're just better in the conditions they are at the moment.
What kind of times do you think we could be expecting? As Shutter in the Mercedes has just gone to a 121.4. we gonna be seeing some 120s? Is this too early to have a guess here?
I mean, it's definitely possible. Um, I mean, yeah, shout to the provisional poll. We do have another like 14 drivers set up like that. But at the moment, it looks like there's more people going out on the inters or just waiting because the rain does look like it's stopping at the moment.
Yeah.
As Drip's having a bit of a hard time right now, although he has had set a lap. Yeah, he's on the grass.
Yeah, it does not look like it's an easy drive at the moment. It's absolutely wet. Torrential rains, I don't know if they were gonna eventually calm down a little bit during the qualifying. Drip comes right up to the back of that Haas. Is that the Haas of Brandon? I believe so, who's on his outlap on the wets. I think we saw him come out with the intermediates in the beginning and went back in for the wets, and I was gone on his outlap.
Absolutely, yes. I think Buffalo Tracy is actually blocking Adeo right now on his hot lap. And yeah, I think Adeo's now backed off.
So, given that this is a track, you're seeing the times. Normally, the times on the dry lap would be around the 108s, 109 here for D4. So, pretty fast-paced track, I should say. And definitely, it's easy, so especially in Sector 2, kind of block somebody without really, if you're not really paying attention. So, these drivers got to be careful, especially in wet conditions, because you're not gonna have the reflexes or the time to be able to pull out if the guy is really slow in front of you. And as I say that, I'm seeing a Mercedes who, not a Mercedes, sorry, McLaren. That's the McLaren of Drip, who's off the off track there. Don't see if he's got any damage, but he spun off going down the Asana S's. And another McLaren, the McLaren of Clark's, also seemed to go really slow. Don't know if he was on his fast lap or on his out lap so far. I think he was actually trying to do his lap.
Yeah, Joel's backed off another lap, so he's struggling right now. I'm not sure if Ethan said, but is there going to be rain in the race? Or is it going to dry out?
It looked like it was not going to be a rain on the race. And I'm seeing Ben.
Yeah, Ben is disqualified.
Ben just got disqualified for going the wrong way. Now, the question is, we didn't catch that on screen here, but was that from spinning out and ending up the wrong way? There is the possibility of that happening on this track at turn 13, where at some point, if you really lose it, you go onto the grass and the game thinks you're going backwards and essentially disqualifies you. So I don't know if that's what happened with them at that point. Not a fun moment for the house driver, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know either, but Labib's actually on a kind of a heater lap, and this could be not pole, but this could be close. Yeah, P4 for him, just behind the Brandon and the Haas.
Yeah, we see CRL Gibbs and the AlphaTauri get a provisional pole here at a 120.6. That's actually, it's a 120.601 with Shutter at a 604, so they're only 0.003 of a second in wet conditions, separating the P1 and P2 already in Q1. So this could be an interesting battle for the next two qualifying sessions coming up. Labib had a great time at a 129.8, and Brandon at P3 so far, and the other Haas doing a 129.21. So about 0.3 separating the top four. And then you suddenly have more of a gap between Labib and Condor. Again, a lot of races have not put in their times yet, so we're only getting started at that point. Am I seeing Max Verstappen has DNF'd as well?
He
Trying to
has
see if we're going to
indeed.
see it. There's yeah, there he is. He's out of what would that be? Turn 14.
Turn 14.
Yeah, turn 14. He lost it. He's facing the wrong way, and that's a Red Bull that is out of Q1 already. And I don't know if we should call him Ethan Patel right now in the office, but goodness, that's not a good start to the qualifying here. So hopefully Joe Goran will be able to give it a proper lap and put the Red Bulls up in there. Red Bulls have high expectations of themselves.
Yeah, they do indeed. I mean, they had a lot of good seasons the past few, like the last 5 seasons we've been in. I don't even know what season we're in right now, but it's nearly into the double digits. But am I seeing this right, or Siggy and a Ferrari just went side by side and just both went off track?
Yeah, we're seeing that a little bit. I'm just keeping an eye on.
I think it was Labib.
Yeah, yeah, and we're seeing a switch of tires happening now. We just noticed Roldy in intermediates pull a 119.5. Aaron G put a 119.7 in intermediate tires. So some drivers went on intermediates, and then we went off to the wets, and now we're back on the intermediates with only 6 minutes left in Q1. So we're going to be looking at drivers probably going into switch for their wet tires, heading to the intermediates, and we're going to see that those lap times are going to be dropping.
Yeah, something is, I think George, or Max Verstappen, was actually announced a Red Bull driver this week, and retiring or DNFing on your first quali as a full-time driver, it's not a good start, is it?
So we're seeing more and more drivers coming in. I think we're seeing Joe Guran. Here he's just about to finish his first lap.
Goes up to P2.
There
not too
he
bad
goes,
lap for him.
P2. Yeah, 119.5, barely 6 tenths off of Roldy there in P2. So that's gonna have Ethan cheer a little bit more. And that's Joe Guran. We know Joe Guran has definitely got proper qualifying pace and proper race pace too. Joe being I raced last season in Division 1, having Joe Guran as a team principal, and just joined back in Division 2 for the rest of the season. And whenever you're joining a guy like Joe Guran, you know he doesn't put too much pressure on his drivers, expects the best out of everyone. You know, everyone knows what they gotta do with the Red Bull. And Joe is definitely a class act guy that's able to put in some really fast-paced laps, and he's definitely put himself up in P2 and Q1, so might pull out a really fast one later on during the sessions.
Absolutely, as I'm watching Clark right now, coming through twisty turny part of sector 2. I think he's got a dry setup on this. I don't think there's possible ways he's having this much trouble in the wet. As Joel just goes divisional pole with an 18.4, so the track is drying out.
Definitely the track is drying up, so curious to see, because right now I don't see raindrops falling. The track is definitely wet. For the last 3 minutes and a half about in this quali, I guess interiors are going to be the best laps and their best tires for this, and they're just going to constantly gain on the times. Joe Guran with a 1:18.4, that's 4 tenths faster than Bibra, and now we're starting to see the classification kind of shuffle out a little bit. Keep an eye on Siggy, who's not had a time yet put in, and he's probably doing that right now. I think he's trying to put in a fast lap. Currently, he was just finishing his out lap. It's about 3 minutes left, so it's gonna be like the last chance for most of the drivers to go out. And tracks are getting really busy, so I expect the classifications or the standings to shuffle up a little bit. Brandon with a 1:18.0, followed by Drip. Drip in the McLaren just pulled a 1:17.59. Just shows, really just proves that the times are going to be going lower and lower. Maybe we're going to hit 1:16s by the end of Q1. And what am I seeing? I'm seeing an Alpine. Was that B-Bright or Williams? Sorry, that looked like a Williams that was parked. No, that is an actual Alpine. I think that was El Padron. Yeah, he's gone off track, lost a little bit. Don't think he's got damage. Not an area where you could hit a wall. I'm not sure if I could see his front wing there.
See, just goes
Yeah.
provisional pole with a 17.4.
17-4.
That's a big improvement for him.
Great improvement for Siggy. Pulls the P1, finally gets a lap through, pulls it in P1. So far we got Siggy, Drip, and Brandon on top 3 here. So Max Verstappen and Ben are essentially out of the qualifying. And I'm noticing we only have, and I'm just gonna make sure here. Yeah, we only have 18 drivers here. So given that situation, it would be Verstappen, Ben, and Buffalo Trace that would be out for Q1, if I'm not mistaken. Would that include Condor as well?
No, that's only for Q2, I think.
Yeah, from P11 to P15. So far, we already got 2 of the 3 drivers because we're not a full grid here.
But yeah, everyone's now starting to put some good times in.
Definitely, we're seeing it drop very rapidly here. We've got an Alpine that went off in the center straights there. Is that a Deo or is that?
That is, I think that's Gibbs. No, it is a Deo. The Deo's just went to P6. So really good lap from him.
Yep.
That will definitely keep him in the top 15. And Condor is now coming to the line.
Condor puts his
P9.
P9 went down to P10 because Rigraph pulls a 1:16.5, the whole half second in front of Joe Goron in P2. So there's already a couple cars that are out that are staying in the pits, including what I'm seeing, one of the Mercedes, and I believe one of the Alpines of B-Bryce. So they believe they're going to be okay to not get pushed down to elimination, but as it keeps on going, we're seeing drivers crossing the line and improving on their standings continuously. Drip with a 1:16.533, another 2 thousandths difference between him and Rigraph. Joe Goron with a 5.56. The timings are extremely tight one to another. Who else is coming across the line? Is that Aaron? Aaron in the Alfa Romeo.
Buffalo stays P16, so Buffalo is now out.
Buffalo Trace at a 1:19.9, not fast enough. He's got a 4/10 difference between Roldy at P15, so he still had a lot of gap to catch up to. Pretty sure that we still have Condor and Clarks, I believe. Condor's coming into the pits. We have a Ferrari right behind. Is that Rigraph also going in? And we have a McLaren. It looks like Clarks, who stays P11. Everyone seems to be going into the pits, so that's essentially it, guys. So for P1, so being disqualified, Ben is going to start the race at P18. The Haas driver who essentially spun out and ended up being disqualified. Max Verstappen lost it in P14. Will start P17, and Buffalo Trace just couldn't get fast enough and is going to be eliminated from the Q1. Sits in P16. Q2 is going to be up in just about a minute, and from then it's going to be positions 11 down to 15 that are going to be in the hot zone. So curious to see, and also got us a look at is how is the weather going to affect things, because it's been raining really heavy when we began. Now it's calmed down quite a lot. Will Q2 offer us some dry track a little bit, or are we still going to be in rain?
I think we were going to start off with the intermediates, and then maybe at the end we'll see people going on to the soft tyres. Be very interesting.
Those kind of weather shuffles definitely tends to move things around on the standings. So far we're top 3: Drip, Rigraph, and Joe Goron. McLaren, Ferrari, Red Bull sharing the top 3 positions there. Great position, great performance for well, one of the Red Bull drivers, not for the others so far. And very, very tight standings, or tight times, should I say, in the first couple drivers. So here we are, Q2, starting up right now. We've got 15 minutes. It looks rather dry well, it's not raining, I should say. The track looks
Does
like it's
look
going to be drying. Yeah, definitely. So you look at what tires the drivers are going to come out on, but we're seeing a first. I believe that's a McLaren that just started up their engine.
Yeah, that is a McLaren, or yeah, that is a McLaren. But there is a
Yeah.
pass ahead, and I think that is Brandon. Could be wrong. Well, no, it has to be Brandon. So yeah, Brandon is going to be the first. Wait, no, I am wrong. It is an Alfa. It's an Alfa Romeo of Aaron G. So yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, he's on the soft. So
Yeah, everyone's
it's
coming
actually
out
gonna
on
be
the softs. Yep. Definitely everyone's coming out on the soft so far, and right away you see the pace difference going on. So a lot of setups were probably already made for dry weather.
So this is all about pace now.
This will absolutely be 100% about pace in this setting. Let me just do a little something. I was just noticing a lot of motion blur. Oh, there you go. There you go.
Aaron
Alright.
just started a lap. Going past the center S's. Coming to the first DRS zone. Not sure if you would count
Yep.
the long straight one.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting a 17 flat, I think. Getting a McLaren in the way. I think that was flat, and it was. But doesn't put Aaron off coming up into a long right-hander. Coming into the twisty part of sector 2.
Have a McLaren that went off behind him in sector 2. I'm gonna keep on track here with Aaron. Look at his lap here. And
Very decent lap from him, and this is probably banker.
it's smooth there.
It's not really the best lap that it's going to do. 109.9. Definitely can be improved on.
I think we're going to probably be seeing 108s in a second. 108s, 109, that's what I'm expecting for D4. Maybe somebody's going to surprise me and go a lot lower than that.
Drip is next to cross the line, but he's actually had a bit on off that lap, so.
See B-Bry with a 110. Yeah, Drip did have was the McLaren that spun out behind Aaron a little while ago, so. Time technically for 128.
And I want to see where Shutter comes in the 17.3, not fastest sector there through sector 1, but he can improve on his time through the sector 2.
Looking through, I think we have is that a Williams that went off track a little bit? Williams of B-Bry, yeah. Another McLaren that's gone off, yeah.
Yeah, Brandon's invalidated this lap, so something new to this game is you've got to actually it's quite hard to restore your battery. Honda goes to 109.9.
So 905 compared to a 949, so just about 400s off between Aaron and Condor, between P1 and P2. Seeing a lot of drivers. I don't know if it's because of the wet conditions where drivers were forced to be a lot more careful, and now we're tiptoeing around the track. Now we're seeing them trying to push, and essentially with a lot more spinouts and laps being invalidated, as we've just seen Siggy, I believe, cross the line, but he had invalidated his lap. Joe Goran just puts it in a pole position so far at a 109.4, so that's a half a second almost difference between him and Condor. Rigraff really tight behind him. Crosses the line at 9.5, so...
Yeah, now Labib's going to start his outlap. I'm going to keep on board with Labib. He's been a hit and miss this season. His teammate is definitely been the better out of both of them at the start of this season, so it'll be really interesting to see if Labib can...
Labib's got a lot to prove himself at this moment. He's beginning, just entering Sector 2. He has a purple Sector 1, as just noticed so far, so his Ferrari's definitely got some pace, and seeing if he could keep it nice and tight through the whole of Sector 2. He's got to be careful. He's got a slow McLaren. He's going to come up to, I don't know if that's Drip or Clark's.
He's going to provisionally pull that now, and then McLaren nearly got in the way. Doesn't put the leader. 52.2, that's definitely the quickest Sector 2 I've seen.
He's coming down the straight, and he's going to end his lap at a 109.0, so very, very close to being the first driver in the sub 109s, but you could practically say mission accomplished in these circumstances for Labib. So now Labib takes provisional pole in Q2, 109.0, and Sig at a 109.3, Goron at a 109.4. Definitely sets the target much lower for the other drivers here, as I believe Absolutely. I've seen a McLaren go off. Sorry, not a McLaren, a Mercedes.
I think Siggy should get out of the way of Clark there.
Yeah, battery's pretty low, so I'm expecting him maybe to probably a pit, I believe. There's 7 minutes in Q2 left, so I still got some time to go.
Yeah, Adeo's on a lap right now.
Adeo's not set a lap so far.
Nah, he is someone that will be... He'll be that guy where like he just comes out of nowhere, sets up the time, bang, top 3.
He's got a fastest second sector, according to the times here. So I'm just seeing purple on the track there. He crosses the line at a 109.7. So 109.7 puts him P5. Looking at him go, I'm wondering if he just had a slow corner, or if he maybe has a setup that's maybe has some higher downforce, offering him faster sector 2 times, but where he loses it on the straight. And speaking of setups, now, how do you think the drivers are going to go about it? You go for a balanced setup, a higher downforce setup to take advantage of sector 2, or a setup with a little bit less downforce, so you could really go for the overtaking opportunities out of turns 13, 14, and into the Senna S's in 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's going to be a weird one because at quali, you do want your wings to be quite higher than it should be for dry. So normally your wings for dry will be like, I don't know, 12 to 22, like your front wings. But then when it's like in the wet, it kind of muddles it up, and then you kind of want to put your wings to 30 or something like that. Because you need that more downforce to turn through the like tricky corners. So I don't know how they're going to do it. Maybe these guys have much more downforce than they should be using.
It's very possible. So far, there's just about 5 minutes left in Q2, if I seen correctly. In the hot zone, we've got Brandon in the Haas at P11, who's just invalidated his lap, by the way. Gibbs, well, as I say his name, Gibbs crosses the line and puts himself P7. So now we've got Bibrai in the Williams, who now is got dropped into the hot zone. Brandon in P12, and both McLarens in P13 and 15, Clarkson Drip. Drip still hasn't really put an actual lap on. He's at 118, far off the pace. I think he's been really pushing it and going off track and having some spins, so he just finished his lap and put it at P10.5, at a P13 at a 110.5. Still not enough to get himself to the hot zone. So we got Bieber P11, Brandon, Drip, Clarks, And Roldy, who was putting up some really fast times so in the wets, is now in the back at P15 at a 1:11.6. I have a feeling he's the kind of driver we should expect to push himself up in the top 10 when he comes out of the pits and switches his tires around. A little bit more quiet on the track. We're seeing a lot of drivers go into the pits. There's only the two McLarens that are still out. We saw yellow flags in Sector 3. I think that was Clark's that he is taking it slow, letting I believe was an Alpine go by, going back into the pits. I believe that was the Alpine of B-Bry, and he is still in P11. Or no, should I be mistaken, actually? It was El Pajon. So B-Bry is actually in P11, trying to get past. Will he be able to improve his time? And he does. So he's now P8. There's 3 minutes and 45 seconds to go, just about. Puts himself in P8 and pushes now Shutter on the outlap with the Mercedes into the hot zone.
Yeah, I don't think that time's going to be enough, and that will be his last lap. He might be able to get round and go in the pits, get a new set of tyres on, but
he's going to have to be very
I think
quick
that
going
will be
about
his
that.
last lap.
Yeah. I think he just might be able to make it out, but it'll be very, very tight. Not quite sure, though. Just like you said, it might be his last lap. I'm expecting him to go out and try it again, probably.
Yeah. As El Padrone, someone that we really wanted to see a few weeks ago, got his seat. Not been performing well. I don't think so. I could be wrong. You never know. But he's gone wide. He went really wide through turn 1, and I think he's aborted his lap. Shutter's now on a new lap. 30 milliseconds down from Sector 1. Hopefully he can improve in Sector 2. Taking these corners quite slower than usually.
I think he's trying to do a fast-paced kind of warm-up lap.
He's using his battery though, so
yeah.
Don't know, but he is nearly 3 tenths up on his time. So this will definitely move him up into the top 10.
So we're seeing drivers, I'm looking at Labib who pulled a 1:09.0, and other drivers not really that close to his times, but I think Labib wants to protect that that time he's got there. I'm curious to see if he's using fresh tires, because he's definitely going to need them for Q3 in case some bad luck happened. I wouldn't want to do a broadcaster's curse on him, but...
Absolutely, as Condor the Fox is now on lap. And this is someone that should be going into the top 10.
Definitely.
Top 3 in the standings right now, so he's showing something that I wouldn't have expected from the start of the season, but getting fastest Sector 1, nearly 2 times up.
There's just about a minute left in the qualifying, so drivers that are in the pits, essentially their qualifying is done. I believe that is Rick Raff that is staying in the pits, and Siggy, they're satisfied with their time, definitely. B-Bry, who pulled a P8, is on an outlap, so he's gonna try. B-Bry is on the outlap. I think he's gonna have time to be able to make it out there and do another lap. So we're expecting Condor to improve on his lap. Both McLarens in P13, P14 haven't. I'm seeing Clark's on a 4-lap old softs there as well, so probably picked up some new ones and just about ready to try to improve his time. Roldy, whose time is a second off the pace of P14, so I'm also expecting him to go in through with quite a fast lap, and I think he actually is on his fast lap currently, and that's gonna be his last lap on his end. So let's see if he's able to improve.
Yeah, Condor the Fox going P2, that lap's a really good job for him. As the B goes out for no reason and only improves by a little bit. So
Well, he wanted to be sub 109s, and he does. Roldy's going into the pits. Was not satisfied with his laps. He's essentially given in and going for P15. So that is one driver out. Siggy crossed the line. Gibbs crossed the lines at P5. Aaron G pulling into the pits. Adeo in the Alpha Tauri is done. We've seen Brendan in the Haas cross the line, and he's still P13.
yeah, we do have Bebry coming through turn 14 right
Oh,
now.
and Drip spins
Oh,
it,
no.
and that's the end for him, essentially.
Yeah,
So
Bebry is now on a lap. He's coming to the line run now. This will improve his time, and it will put him in P7.
he puts it P7. Great job, Bebry, and Clarkson did improve. The other McLaren did improve his time, and essentially was better than Bebry's time, but just wasn't enough. Clarks is just about going slow, letting an AlphaTauri go by, and so P11 Clarks is that's done for him. El Padron and the Alpine, sorry. That's done for him as well. Brandon and the Haas is over. Drip, he just saw him spin out. That's done. Roldy as well. Labib went out still and just wanted that 108 time, and he got it. Is that maybe a little bit of time greed there? Did he use new tires to do that time? Is that going to affect him in Q3? Having essentially a set of tires less to use. Sneaking by
Insane.
Goron went P2 as well, 109.1, so very close to getting 108s as well. We're going to see some of 108s, I believe, in Q3.
Yeah, absolutely. I just need to quickly make a phone call quick. Just give me a sec.
So far, with Q2 coming to an end, we have Labib, Goron, and Condor. Condor finishing in P3. Siggy, Gibbs, Aaron, Bebry, Adeo, Rigraff, and the Ferrari going P9. And Rigraff is our constructors and driver leads in the standings. So, Nick Pierce team P9. You took it easy, I think. We're going to see him doing a lot better in Q3. And Shedder and Mercedes in P10. So far we got both Ferraris, both AlphaTauris, and both Mercedes in the top 10. We've got an Alfa Romeo, a Williams, and only one Red Bull because we saw Max Verstappen lose it in the rain in Q1. So stand by here in just a couple seconds. We're going to have Q3, and we are in for a good one.
Q3 underway.
So we are Q3 just starting out. We're gonna have a good old 12 minutes of quali. A little shout out to the chat. Good evening, everybody. Yeah, it's been a while since I've broadcasted. A little shout out to Rivas Racing, who's probably proud with how both McLarens are out there in the top 10, with Siggy pulling in great laps so far.
Mercedes.
Mercedes, did I say McLaren? I meant to say Mercedes.
You did.
I meant to say Mercedes. Don't forget, guys, I know Rivas likes to remind everybody, and I'm going to do the same. Don't forget to hit the like button. The views and the likes are extremely important for us. If you have not subscribed, go ahead and do it. This is only Division 4 on this Friday night. We are not done. We're definitely going to have Division 3 and Division 2 tomorrow, Saturday at Division 3 at 8 p.m. Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern. 10 p.m. Eastern is going to be Division 2. And Division 1, always action-packed. And things got a little bit spicy with Division 1 lately, so there's the race you want to watch. It's going to be the one this Sunday in Brazil here in Interlagos. Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern. So far on the outlaps, we're seeing I think it was Joe Goran that went out in the Red Bull first, so he did not waste any time. And we have a Mercedes behind him. That is Siggy. So these guys were battling out in the top 3, top 5 out there ever since the qualifyings began, whether it's been in the wets or in the dries. Now in Q3, we're seeing the sun come out, so the track temps are going to be going up a little bit more grip on the track. So we're going to see who's going to take advantage of that as much as possible. My prediction is we're going to see a couple guys go down in the sub 109s and probably one in the 108s. Oh, gotta be careful here.
Yeah.
We see Gibbs, who went out for an outlap, wanted to warm up his tires and warmed them up a little bit too much. That car is not a lawnmower. It doesn't do a very good job at cutting grass, so gotta keep it on the track. He's gonna go for a second warm up there.
I've been told for you, Ranger, that you should move the Div 4 live in the bottom left. Just move it a little slightly away from the F122 logo.
Oh yeah, look at that. I don't see it
Do you
on my
know-
end. Yeah.
Do
We
not
do
know
that.
why. Hopefully that has worked. You got to move it a little bit left.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
I sure do, and that has sent my game into a crash. So how about we do ourselves a quick little intermission? I'll reset it all, and I'll be right back with everyone. And we're back. Sorry about that. Game decided to crash on me, trying to move a little picture around.
thank you, Toto Reavers, for that.
All right,
All
so
going on in.
I think everything is good on this end. Let's just get back and get our information up and running. As predicted, Labib Q2, his lap time was a 108.9, if I believe. Now he's just hit a 108.49. Needless to say, Labib is out there to get pole. Could this be, is this his first pole of, correct me if I'm wrong, Raz, would this be potentially his first pole of the season?
Honestly, I've had too many races where Labib just thrown the pole, so probably not. Actually, he might have got a pole in Bahrain. I know he did win in Bahrain. But I'm sure Rig has been a bit more successful for our drivers to get the pole.
Alright, so far we got Labib at 108.4. Adeo on the AlphaTauri at 109.3. Definitely in a good position there for Adeo. I think he's coming into the pits at this moment. We got Condor, who's in the pits sitting at P3. Rigraf, our D4 leader so far, P4. Joe Goran of 109.4, very close time to Rigraf, and is that starting out on his second lap out there, so keep the tabs on him. I think Siggy was just behind him, also starting out his lap. So, I see a couple guys going out on their second out laps, trying to improve their times.
Yeah, Shutter will be the first man to put another lap in. I feel like they've gone out quite early.
Not wasting any time trying to get as best laps as possible. Shutter a moment ago was just a little bit down on his time, but I think he just went over, so I'm not quite sure if he's going to improve. Maybe I've seen something wrong, but he's already at 110, he's slowed down, and he's coming into the pits.
Yeah, Joel Goran 5 times up on his time, so he's actually a second off the beep, so this will put him P2, but Labib's really cruising away right now. So yeah, Joe actually did improve 6 tenths.
6 tenths, and it puts him P2. So Labib at 108.4 and Joe Goran at 108.8. Seeing a Ferrari. Is that the Ferrari? Labib going into the pits. B-Bryce coming in. I believe he's at the end of a fast lap over here. See if he could improve his time. He's one of the only 2 drivers in the top 10 above the 110 times. He does improve, and look at this, P4 for B-Bry. 109.283, and not so far off of Siggy. This is a Williams driver driving with full confidence. Not many times you're going to see a Williams driver so far up in the standings. Still 3 minutes left, a lot of time for people to improve their times, but he's got to be proud of that one time for a Williams driver.
Yeah, no, that's a really good lap from him. Really big improvement from him from a couple of seasons ago. Really stressful times for him. Siggy's just binned it through turn 13.
Yeah, turn 13. That's tricky because you want to hug on that curb so much, but if you go way a little over, it just sends your car into Beyblade mode. So we're seeing Gibbs, I believe. Was that? No, that is not Gibbs. That is Adeo. So Adeo, I think he's starting. Yeah, he's starting on a fast lap over here. Gonna try to improve. We saw him provisionally at P2 at a 109.3. What is he gonna be able to do to improve his times? Because everybody's gonna be looking to improve their time. Surprisingly, seeing Regraf still in P7, and he's still in the pits as well.
Yeah, Condor Fox in P6 as well. We normally see him up into the top 5s. There's only one position away from that. Does have Shutter behind him, so something that's actually going on right now. Looks like Condor's holding Shutter out right now. I don't think Shutter really wants to be this close with Condor. Especially at the start of the lap.
Quite a curious situation there. Yeah, Condor is also starting his fast lap, and Shutter being so close, he's going to be hitting some dirty air there, so not exactly what you want to be. Maybe he's just thinking he's going to benefit more from the slipstream there than from the dirty air.
We'll soon find out. Condor's 1/10 down from his time.
So Deo just crossed the line and has not improved in P5, and essentially that's going to be the end for him. Sitting at a 109.3, there's only a minute left. A minute and a few seconds left, so that's going to be it for him. And if I'm not mistaken, I just saw Regraf on his outlap either take a spin, or maybe he was slowing down to let Joe Goran go by. So only 2 drivers so far hitting the subs 109s. Hopefully Gibbs is able to improve as well. He's definitely got some time to catch up to even get to P9. But once you catch up to P9, between P9 and P7, I would say, or P8, time difference is not that big. So things could be moving around again. Condor just crossed the line and finishes P3 at 109.045. Siggy right behind him, 109.2. Shutter essentially did not really move in position, so I don't think that he really benefited from sticking behind Condor in the end.
He didn't. So Rigraff has jumped down to P9. Hopefully he can improve on his time.
Definitely, Gibbs just pushed himself up to P8 at this moment. Speaking of Rigraff, let's keep an eye on him. He's in Sector 2, towards the end of Sector 2.
Actually, Joel is actually ahead of him right now, but Labib is rounding off his lap right now. He is up on his time, so he will improve. And
He
Joel's
does
actually gone
improve.
off.
And Joe Goran
Joel
just
has
went
gone
off, so
off.
that's going to be it for his time. Labib hits a
Yeah.
108.3. He's literally letting everybody know that he's the quickest out there, and he's really just beating his own times at this point. The only person that's challenging him is himself. Rigraff pulls out P2, 108.49. So Labib did do a good job there at getting an improved time there, because Rigraff nearly took it from him, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to have, so far in the front row, unless for an absolute surprise, I believe Bibra is going to be the last one to cross the line. So we're going to have a front row lockout with Ferrari. Labib in pole position starting first with Rigraff. And right behind them is going to be the hungry Red Bull of Joe Goran. Bibra is just about to cross the line here. Doesn't improve on his time, so he finishes P7, and Aaron was behind him and goes in P10. So here's your final order for the race, guys, and we're going to be starting the race in just a couple seconds here. Labib, Rigraff, Joe Goran, Adeo on P4, Condor at P5, Siggy, Bibra, and Shutter. So Mercedes hitting 6 and 8. I think Rivas would have wanted maybe a top 5 in there, but they've probably got their strategies already, and I'm sure he's not too worried about his drivers there. Gibbs is P9, putting that AlphaTauri up there, and Aaron G P10 with the Alfa Romeo. So really interesting top 10 grid over here. Now the question I'm wondering, and I'm really curious to see, is how Labib and Rigraff are gonna handle the first Senna S's. The first corner is not a corner you want to fight out on your team with your teammate. You don't want to lose these positions to Joe Goran, who's just going to be waiting to pounce on them. But at the other end, is Labib going to be wanting to get the win tonight, or is he going to be a good sports and let Rigraff, who's the standings the D4 leader so far, and let him run away with it? So stand by here. We're going to have a great early race here in Brazil. This night is just getting started. Alright, here we are. We're going to be starting the formation lap. It's not going to last very long given the immersive, or the broadcasting mode we're going to be using in this situation here. So, interesting to see that Labib and Rigraff are using the same strategies, both going on hard tires, as well as Joe Goran. Adeo in P4 with the AlphaTauri is going to try to get a jump on them, starting on the mediums. Trying to get a better launch off of them in the mediums. So a lot of drivers, a lot of mix between the hards and the mediums. The drivers that are very confident with their pace seems to be going to the hard tires, trying to make them last as long as possible. Race start is going to be underway in just a couple seconds. as the drivers pull up on the formation lap, get in position, and we're just about to have the red lights to go off. And here it is, the red lights are off. And it's lights out and away we go. Labib on a really great, Rigraph actually on a great start. Labib kind of had a bit of wheel spin. We have a Mercedes Asigi in P3, just squeezes in there. And Adeo that's just slid out on the S's. There was a minor contact there, and he's completely slid off. And so far, both Ferraris, definitely Rigraph had the better start between him and Labib. Labib goes a little bit off track, and look at this, Siggy and Shutter, P3 and P5. The Mercedes who were, if I'm not mistaken, P6 and P8 are all over them so far. We have a Haas of Ben who's just lost it in P9, and Buffalo Trace as well who's lost in place, and Adeo's definitely going hard at him at this moment. Drip also seemed to have spun out in the back, so we're seeing a lot of drivers in the back spinning around. Brendan just took over B-Brian P9 as well. Look at this, the Mercedes moved on. Literally in the first couple corners, they went in there. Siggy gained 3 positions, Shutter gained 3 positions, and Aaron G gained also a full 4 positions. Right off the start. Not a good race start for Adeo, who's lost 12 positions. Gonna have to battle back and try to get back in there. Seeing the Alfa Romeo of RNG fighting it out with Shutter a little bit. Trying to get the draft through the straight line right behind him. Otherwise, it's Kalina behind him. We got Condor, Bibra, and Brandon. We've also seen Max Verstappen gain 6 positions. So he started out in P17, if I'm not mistaken. After crashing out during the Q1 qualifying, and he's been waiting this entire time between Q1 and waiting for Q3 to finish, and he's out there hunting down Clarks now with the McLaren in front of him. He wants up a P10 position. He's now sitting in P11. We have Florida, who wasn't with us for qualifying, started in the back of the pack, jumped in an Alpine, and there you go. We've got an Alpine in P12, gained 7 positions right off the bat.
Absolutely, looks like Labib's actually struggling with his high tyres right now. Yeah, I was actually on board with Siggy on his start, and it was one of the best starts I've ever seen. I think Siggy was one of those people, that are well known to have really great starts, and he's just proving it.
Most definitely, and so far, Rigraph has not been able to put enough of a gap between him and Labib, and Labib's able to get DRS off of him. This is lap 3, so DRS has been activated. And Buffalo Trace, we're seeing Buffalo Trace seems to have gone off, and him and Drip also having a little bit of issues, and the Senna S is out in the back. Oh, Jogoron's trying to squeeze into Siggy, and there's contact between both drivers. Siggy's out, spins it around, resets the track. We saw Joe Goron trying to do a little 180 behind there. So both drivers just seem to pinch it together, and I don't know who made the contact. It was a bit tight. This is a tight section of the track. Drivers have to give enormous amounts of respect between each other. Otherwise, we get scenes exactly like this, where 2 drivers trying to fight for those tiny little inches and make contact and lose out. Rigraph, meanwhile, is still sitting in P1. Labib's trying to catch up to him and will be hitting the DRS. So maybe it took a little bit of time, a slow start for Labib to get maybe those tires up to temps. But here he is, slowly catching up to Rigraph. I think Rigraph even had a little bit of a slide there on the curbstones. Labib is definitely hungry for P1. He's looking like a driver who's going to be pushing Rigraph, and he's going to force Rigraph to have a perfect race there if he wants to keep that position. Right behind him, we got Shutter, followed closely by Aaron G. All drivers being able to gain DRS off of each other. Siggy's recovered rather well, although he did reset to track, so that's going to cost him a penalty. He's recovered seemingly well by resetting and getting back on track, and Jogoron is now sitting in P10.
Now in P9.
Now in P9.
Clark.
As we saw, somebody definitely did go offline there, so off track. And we're seeing Drip have a lot of trouble going through the track, and he's on medium tires, so
Yeah, not a day. It's a day to forget for McLaren, but George Russell's actually had a really great start, making 7 positions off from the start after having a really terrible qualifying. But yeah, Siggy making those positions back up. Yeah, like you said, he's going to have a penalty after that. But however, Bebry is still in P7.
Bieber and the Williams driver definitely is working. He's keeping it in P7, having a uneventful start, I should say, to begin with. But that's maybe the best case scenario in his situation. Joe Goran just went by Brandon and the Haas. It's a little bit tight with those drivers, and Goran navigating through those tight spaces and gets by the Haas driver and goes back to P8. It's going to be a situation where Joe Goran is going to want to close the gap between the pack, and what we're seeing on the map so far on the drivers, we're seeing both Ferrari drivers completely pulling away P1 and P2 from everybody, and Labib's might be thinking about going in there P1 on Rigraph, but he's not going to do it so far. He's going to maybe look into it going down the back straight here, but definitely pushing his teammate there, but keeping it clean, probably not taking any unnecessary chances. The battery is definitely full, so don't think he used much of that battery to keep himself there.
Yeah, we had a really good battle for top 5 right now, but Bree has been spun around, and Siggy spun around again, and Siggy's reset the track once again.
So Siggy's 2 track resets. I believe what are those 5-second penalties each? Being reset on track or something like that. So very, very fortunate though. We're just seeing Bieber drop down to P14. Hopefully his tires are not too heated up. The only good news is hopefully if he can keep pace with Ben in P13, he's gonna hop back into that DRS train and try to salvage his race. We're seeing another McLaren driver in the back spinning off. That looks like it was Clark. So both McLaren drivers, P18 and P19, and Clark's tires are just absolutely cooked. He could barely keep it in a straight line there. And there are not many straight lines in Brazil. Another driver to go off, and that looks like it's Gibbs. Gibbs in the AlphaTauri. Losing it out there, so Gibbs, Clarkson, Drips struggling early in the race. Lap 7 has just started, and we're seeing the Haas of Ben who's slid off going down the Senna S's turn 1. Not seeing any damage on his front wing, luckily, on in his case. So keeping a glance out here back on Rigraff and Labib. Labib's still, following him closely. Both of these drivers are lap 7 just about to come up behind the McLaren. So I think there's a slight discussion that's got to be had between the McLaren drivers and the team principal there. Shutter P3, Aaron G is following closely up behind him and still getting in a DRS, but Aaron's not able to just get it by him so far. That leaves Shutter quite vulnerable, however. Just thinking about it, goes a little bit wide at turn 1. That allows Shutter to kind of pull away before the next DRS zone, so that's probably going to give Shutter plenty of time for him to go for the next turn before catches up to him. Drip is the first driver of P18 to get the 3-second time penalty here.
Yeah, Labib actually staying with his teammate right now, so there must be team orders going on here.
Yeah, so it looks like it because both the drivers last I saw, they were keeping their battery uses very high. Seems they don't need a battery to be winning this race so far. And Labib doesn't want to take unnecessary risks and understands probably that Rigraff is P1 in constructors in the driver standings. So far, this Ferrari dominance is very dominant, let's say it like that, so far with the Division 4. we're seeing
As
was that
Florida spun out.
Florida spun out. Yeah, we're seeing Florida in sector 2. We've lost it. Just got overtaken by El Padron, and Florida was so far having a great race start.
Ooh,
Lost
the
it.
shuttle went wide through turn 1 and gets a better exit than Aaron, but
We
Aaron
see
actually done a really good
Siggy
job
in the
running.
pits going for the softs though. So Siggy just went in the pits. There's 9-lap-old mediums. Maybe he just wasn't satisfied with his mediums, or he's gonna try something because he's going for the softs already. He's gonna have to pit a second time. So we didn't talk too much about pit strategy here. I was fully expecting drivers to go for a hard medium or medium hard kind of strategy. Now Siggy goes in for the softs and didn't change his wings, so I'm not sure he has damage either.
So Joe is actually now at the back of his teammate. I mean, back of Condor Fox. So
Yeah.
this will be really interesting to see if Joe makes Condor's life harder than it should be.
You see that the difference in speeds here opens at the DRS. It doesn't go on the ERS just yet. These drivers are conscious that there's another DRS zone coming in, so I think he's just closing in on him, and he's going to try to go by him on the back straight here.
Troopers
Slightly
retired
better
from the second.
exit off of turn 2, and we're going to see Joe Goron, there you go, hits ERS, goes in attack mode in this situation. Condor trying to defend, but not much he can do so far. Keeps it clean, and Goron keeps his line perfectly and takes P5. Got Drip, who seems to have DNF'd. I think he's going to park it. I mean, so far that was not his race.
Brandon and Adeo are battling out. Ooh,
Oh, slight contact in the back of Deo from Brandon. I just got that in time there. It was defending, and Brandon, he just got to play the patient game there. He's maybe a little bit stressed because he's got Max Verstappen, who's Mag Verstappen, should I say, who's closing in behind them. But Adeo has nobody in front of him with DRS. Is going to try to empty out his ERS to defend. Brandon should be able to catch up to him with DRS. It looks like there's a big difference in setups, because what we normally see, what we've seen so far in this race, between the Haas driver and Adeo and the AlphaTauri, looks like Brandon's running a higher downforce kind of setup. And we're seeing Adeo pull away from him on the straight. So is it a higher downforce setup, or is it Adeo that has a way lower lower setup? Right now we got Verstappen sitting in P9, catching up to Brendan. So Brendan wants to make a move on. It's now or never, because in just a moment's time he's going to be out in there in the open for Verstappen if he just is able to be patient with him.
absolutely. As Aaron Cheese made the move on Shutter, but Shutter's going to get the DRS on Aaron G. And at the moment, it's a free Ferrari-powered engines in the podiums,
Absolutely.
as Adeo is around.
Adeo's, I don't know if there's contact with Brandon. We saw Brandon hunt him a little bit in the rear earlier. Looks like Adeo maybe may have thought a little bit too early and lost it. Is going to try to defend with that Alpine, and the Alpine of El Padron gets by him into turn 1. A lot more battery usage available for El Padron, so Adeo loses that position, and he's going to try to fight it back, but so far, especially with the spin and the tires that probably got cooked a little bit, I think he's got to look a little bit more from behind him with Florida. That's starting to sneak in there, getting a little bit closer to Adeo. Needless to say, we're going to take a quick look at both Ferraris, who are quite definitely on cruise control. Rick Raff with
Labib actually went in
100%. Yeah, Labib actually went out of the front, so I don't know if team orders were called out there or if it was actual racing, but they seem to have switched around with Labib and Rick Raff. We thought they were just cruising along and taking it easy, not using their ERS. Seems like Labib decided to go up for it. Rick Raff is following him behind, not using his ERS, so not sure they've gone full race mode. And Luckily they haven't, because if they had, they would have passed the McLarens at least 14 times already. Oh, that's going to be disappointing for a young driver in the Red Bull. Max Verstappen gets a 3-second penalty. And there he goes past Brandon, so it goes back in P7, but with that penalty, and Brandon's going to try to catch up with him with DRS, and that is not possible for him, so definitely exposing Brandon's downforce setup there being maybe a little bit too high because he cannot catch that Red Bull. And while all that was happening, Labib, maybe having a little bit too much fun out front, is practically giving himself a 3-second penalty, cutting the track too often. So got to be careful there as a driver in P1, but now it's essentially dropping him officially to P2, unless Rigraf gets one himself. Aaron's also got a 3-second penalty, so we're seeing penalties starting to drop in on those drivers. Lap 14, a lot of drivers also on medium tires. Now, I'm wondering, Raz, what's going to be the... around what lap do you expect those medium tire drivers to want to be pitting?
Well, I thought around lap 10 or lap 12, but apparently these drivers are making it longer.
I think each driver might have been expecting a safety car somewhat through a... Sorry for that, folks. I'm back live. Had a bit of a computer issue with the game at this moment. There you go. Okay. We're out here in lap 22. No DNF so far. Picking up on the accident, Raz, what have you been able to observe so far? If you want to just recap on what we've seen. Yeah.
So yeah, Honda and Joel making the overcut. So Honda's actually just pitted now, and I think, if I'm correct, Honda will be ahead behind Aaron and Shutter. He's actually on the medium, so he's going to be the quicker driver out of them two.
Yep.
Joel still needs to pit, but Joel will be ahead of Shutter and Aaron G. Actually, that will be quite a tight one. We'll see if Joel pits now. Labib Rigraf still going at it. Once again, Bebry and Hockey's rolling in the top 10.
Yeah, so we're seeing Joe Goron still on their initial hard tires. 22 lap hards for Goron, which is really making them last, and he's going to try to take advantage of having the better compound for the end of the race there. I would assume he's looking to aim possibly for P3, trying to make a comeback there after his contact with Siggy. The other driver who, as you mentioned, didn't pit at all is Roldy. And the other Williams, so far got Bibrin's his partner being up in P7. Looking through here, there's a couple penalties that have been handed out here. So we're looking at a 3-second penalty for Labib, RNG, Verstappen, and Brandon. We're looking at Roldy pitting over here real quick as well. Essentially, I'm expecting Joe Goron to do the same thing very soon. Al Padron is sitting in P10, and he's got 8-second penalty. So that's a 3-second, and most probably I would assume a 5-second for speeding in the pit lane, as Florida has just gotten as well in P9. In the Alpine, Brandon's got another 3-second penalty, so that's 6 seconds total so far. So it's going to be affected a little bit with those penalties near the end of the race. The only drivers so far not to have pitted for the medium tires, or for the opposite compound of where they had started between the mediums and the hards, is Goron. So is he going to be pitting soon. I would expect him to do so. So far, noticeable gains in regards to drivers who started a little bit further back on the grid. Looking at Florida, despite the penalties, he's sitting P9 on the grid without having done any qualifying at all. He just jumped in his car and went on at it. And Verstappen, who unfortunately had contact and a spin as well, currently fighting it up with Ben, who's right behind him. And the Haas, who's gained 6 positions. Ben also has gained positions. Both drivers are having a very similar race and are probably very happy with themselves, despite sitting P11 and P12. Things could still change quite quickly. Unfortunately for McLaren, absolutely not their weekend so far in Division 4. Clarks is sitting P18, probably got lapped a couple times and dripped while he DNF'd after absolutely cooking the tires out. So some drivers are not going to be too happy. Sigi had a couple contacts as well. Pitted earlier for soft tires, now we're seeing him on hards. So I'm wondering if the contacts just cooked his medium tires and decided to hit the sauce for a couple laps and try to gain as much time as possible. But Sigi had an outrageously great beginning of the race to begin with, and unfortunately that's cost him quite a lot with the contact with Joe Goron as well. Speaking of Mercedes, we got Shutter, who's doing a great job defending. We got Condor right behind him, who's looking to really gain position, and Aaron G and the AlphaTauri just hanging back a little bit, but he's still in there. Hopefully in a position to gain DRS for him and try to catch up to those 2 drivers. So we got a two-way, but possibly 3-way battle sneaking up. There's 10 laps to go, folks. In the comments, who do you guys think is going to be winning this race? So far, we can quite obviously see Labib up there with Rigraff, but with the penalties, is Labib going to try to floor it and lose Rigraff to gain the 3-second advantage, or is Rigraff going to get the position back in order to get as many points as possible? With 10 laps to go, go ahead, Russ, sorry.
I was just say at this point, if Rigraff can keep with Labib, Rigraff will be winning because Labib's got the 3-second time penalty. Actually, Connor's actually going to make a move for Shutter right now. Going side by side, I think Shutter should really be just doing.
Oh. Saw the Shutter slightly just put a couple wheels out on the side of the track, trying to make it up there. So
good defending.
Definitely great defending from Shutter there. And Condor is really sticking close to his Mercedes opponent there, and also gathered himself quite a good amount of VRS compared to Shutter. Shutter's at 16% battery. Condor has got himself up to 40%, so I think the move is going to be made. Fresher medium tires against older hards. Condor is going to be looking to come back and fight Shutter there. Didn't have the greatest exit, exactly. They didn't have the greatest exit after turn 13 there, so look at him catch up to him right up on this essence. He's gonna try to go for the move a second time. This is where last lap they almost made contact, and Condor is decided to play it a little bit more patient there. Kind of saw the opportunity, but didn't go fully for it. However, Condor has been using a bit more of his battery there.
It's quite a bit of a naughty thing there, Shutter. I was thinking about. He was kind of swerving in a way, and then like when Condor was going to go make the move, he just turns in the, well, not in the back, but he just turns on the outside for Condor to make the move.
Shutter's trying to really keep himself away from Condor, and it's going to be a fight till the end, I believe, this battle here. Unless Condor is able to get by him in this situation, Shutter is absolutely vulnerable. Condor officially takes over to P4 in front of the Mercedes. Will the Mercedes be able to try to gain back at him on this second straight, now gaining the DRS advantage? let's not forget RNG, who wants to take advantage of this position, but I believe the two drivers have just a little bit more pace in him so far, and Condor now is let loose and was played a little bit more patient game, didn't need to fight Shutter that hard, and instead of trying to go into the corner, decided to use the main straight and got the position on, and we're seeing the gap slowly extend between Shutter and I mean between Condor and Shutter. I believe he's already got him a second apart from him, so that will be no DRS for Shutter. And now Shutter is gotta be starting to think, is he gonna be able to catch up to that Aston Martin, or is he looking behind and gotta defend against RNG? Because RNG so far has been patient and he pitted at the same time as Shutter as well, and he's got DRS on him. I believe Shutter also got DRS at the very last second, so that's gonna help him out a little bit. But RNG's been harvesting his battery. We're looking at 40% versus an 8% battery. The only way Shutter is going to be able to defend himself with against RNG is being able to stick to Condor and not lose that DRS. He gets it a second time here. Question is how long will he be able to do that? It's going to be a massive defensive mission there for the Mercedes driver in P5.
Absolutely. But once again, Aaron has a 3-second time penalty.
Yep.
And I just realised Joel still hasn't pitted, so he's going to go through his softs. Most likely. I wonder if this
Most
is
likely
the lap
softs. Yeah.
where he will be pitting.
Doesn't look like it yet. No, he's very curious to see how cooked his tires are, because he's been making them last nearly full 30 laps, and RNG gets another 3-second penalty. I believe that's a second penalty that he's gotten, and just not 5. Gonna be penalized 6 full seconds there, so not the kind of situation you want to be in. And for Aaron, it's a little bit unfortunate. Yeah, 6 seconds for RNG so far. So race-wise, Shutter maybe got to keep an eye on the driver behind him, but got to watch out for penalties, guys. Similar situation between P7 and P8. Florida, who's having a great race so far despite the penalties, coming up to the back of the AlphaTauri with his Alpine and looking to get the DRS off of him. I don't know if he's close enough to have the pace. If he's got DRS, did not hit the DRS so far, so playing the patient game as well on fresher mediums compared to those 15-lap old hards.
Looks like Joel is now pitting. That's a really slow pit entry. So yeah, he'll be going on the softs. But will Condor make the undercut? Is it the undercut or is it the overcut?
It would be the overcut at this situation. Joe Garon, I think the last one to pit. I think Condor is just gonna go for it. I don't know if Condor is actually aiming for Joe Garon in this situation. We've also seen Brandon and P17 going for the soft, so I don't know if he's thinking he's able to gain some positions through that. Meanwhile, that also, I believe that gave...
Ooh.
Oh, we're seeing contact. Where was it? Contact between...
Max Verstappen and
Siggy. That's third contact with Siggy. Is that 3 times involving a Red Bull driver?
It is indeed. As El Padron goes round in his center S's. Not a good day for him.
But unfortunately, with the penalties, that's going to drop him even further back down the grid. Well, if anybody's been following some D1 drama between Red Bull drivers and other kind of, well, this time was with the Alpines, but now this week D4, we're going to have a little bit of drama between Mercedes and Red Bull, where Mercedes and Red Bull basically doing a Max Verstappen versus Hamilton so far in D4 with 3 contacts with Siggy, 1 on Joe Garon, I believe twice with Max Verstappen. So myself being newly appointed steward, I have a feeling I'm going to have a couple tickets to be reading during the night. So officially this brings us with 4 laps to go, Rigraf being in P1, Labib in P2, despite his penalty, he should keep himself in P2. Goron, with 15 seconds behind Labib, is going to try to gain all that time on him. Not quite sure that's going to be something that's doable despite having fresher soft tires, but keep an eye on that, see how fast he's going to be able to melt the time. And Condor is also having a very respectable race so far, and Condor had started P5 and kept himself P4 so far in the race. Shutter behind him gained 3 positions starting from P8. RNG and Florida had great races, however the penalties are going to hurt them a little bit so far. 6 seconds for RNG, 5 seconds for Florida. However, Florida, shout out to him, gaining 12 positions starting from the back of the grid. So despite the penalty, we'll be gaining some valuable points there for his Alpine team. Although I do believe Alpine usually expects their drivers to be top 5, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'd say around top 5. It's definitely Thermo's target, but looks like not for today. But yeah, Florida has a 5-second time penalty, which could drop him down to P10. And El Padron has 11 seconds.
Just picked up another 3 seconds. I've seen a couple minutes ago. Indeed, Adeo is, despite having the older tires and compared to Florida, I think we're starting to see 14-lap old mediums starting to lose their pace, and the 16-lap old hards are probably just at the crossover there, and Adeo is going to be looking to pounce down right past that Alpine through the straight lines on the next DRS area. Meanwhile, RNG still keeping close by on the DRS on Shutter. You can see him being very, very conservative with the use of his batteries.
Ooh.
Look at this, Rigraph with a 3-second penalty. Suddenly, Labib. Well, there's still 3 seconds between each other, looking at that. And we're seeing a Red Bull that was slowed down. That looked to be Max Verstappen who had a spin off, so unfortunate for the driver who's had contacts and spins and looked to have a very promising race, and so far is looking to finish, I believe, P15 so far, and that's even with penalties, so even if he did gain some positions back, he'd lose them up all over again.
I'm just on board with Gibbs and El Padron last few laps. They've really been going at it just for that the 11 spot.
We've got two situations that are basically copy-paste. We've got Florida, who's trying to keep away, and Florida and Alpine trying to keep away from Adeo, and El Padron, and also an Alpine and P11 trying to keep away from Gibbs and P12.
Yeah, as McLaren is spun once again. A really dull day for McLaren here.
Unfortunately, I'm gonna give props to Clarks for doing everything he possibly can to finish his race. When we say that every racer finishes with points, this guy understood that. I don't know if myself as a driver, I mean, he looks like he's ice skating instead of driving out there, but he's doing everything he can to just grab that 1 or 2 points that's going to be available for him. So kudos to him, and with cooked tires and not having the greatest fun, he doesn't really get the chance to race, but man, that's a determined guy, and you know one weekend he's going to have a better weekend and he's going to get some better points. That's going to come with practice for Sir Clarks and the McLaren, but not this evening.
Oh, I've just realised it's the last lap of Grand Prix.
Absolutely, it happened quite quickly, despite me losing off on a couple laps there. So Rigraph seems that he's going to gain himself another win, and Ferrari closing in on a 1-2 finish here, extending their lead on the constructor standings. I'm not even going to attempt pulling up the constructor standings to not make my computer explode a second time tonight. And Rigraph goes around turn 12. Oh, that looks like a Red Bull that spun out a little bit in the back. I wonder if that was Joe Guron or if that was possibly, I believe that was Verstappen again. And there we have it, Rigraff going in through the final turn. Is just about to cross the line, and he wins the Brazilian Grand Prix. P1 for Rigraff. Labib right behind him, just about to catch up. Looks like he's slowing down a little bit. Backmarkers are able to pass him, and definitely looks like he's run out of fuel just before the finish line. And he did. He's. I thought that was Max Verstappen. Hold on here. I think with the penalty on top of that, he's run out of fuel. What just happened? I was sure that was Verstappen. Hold on. This was Joe Goron. Joe Goron finishes P2.
Oh, no. Beverly and Ben just had a bit of a tangle up. Last corner, Beverly does get P9. Really solid result for the Williams. Oh, but hold on. The Williams has run out of fuel as well.
A lot of drivers. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of drivers. A couple drivers getting slowed across the line, and Labib, we've seen Labib, and that penalty probably didn't help him because Joe Goron also was was close to him, and Goron didn't have any penalties yet. Condor finishing P4, Shutter P5. A lot of things here that we didn't expect, and this is with the penalties being calculated here. So let's running down the grid once again. So we're gonna have Rigraff, we're gonna have Joe Goron, we're gonna have Labib, who's let's say he's gonna have some questions to answer here, and we're gonna be the first ones to be able to ask him if he does want to have an interview with us. Obviously, I'm wondering if he is gonna want to, given the fact that that seems to be like a very costly mistake for him.
Yeah, really strong performance once again for Ferrari team. Peter Giordano must be really happy with that. I mean, if I was Peter, I'd be like, damn, my draft picks were amazing. Well, at least for D4. Looks like Labib's actually not happy. And I'm pretty sure he left a Ferrari. He left the game. Looks like he's not happy, so maybe we won't get an interview for him today, but we do have a Rigraff.
We do have Rigraff. Let's see if we can get Joe Goron priority here. So just to close out before the timer runs out here, just showing you guys the official standing. So officially Rigraff, Joe Goron, and Labib is your top three on the podium, followed by Condor, Shutter, Aaron G in P6, Adeo in P7, Bibri, Ben, Gibbs, and Ben, who had a start in P18, finished P8. Siggy, Roldy, Florida, who's but the penalties cost him quite a lot. But John Verstappen, Buffalo Trace, Brandon, and our backmarkers, the two McLarens, Clarks, and Drip, who unfortunately did not have the race they expected to be. It'll be on to Division 3 tomorrow evening to show what they can do in this kind of situation. Alright, Raz, who do we have for our interviews? Try to see if we could get either Joe Goron. I think we have Joe Goron that's just going to be ready over here in a second. Alright, let's see if we could bring Joe Goron in to begin with. So we're not able to speak with the P3 position, P3 at the end of the standings here with the Labib, but we have Joe Goron with us. Joe, we've got to ask. We're trying to understand here. It kind of caught us off guard. What happened there at the end with the Ferrari? All right. Give me a sec. Yeah, got it right here. Cause I got the game audio. Okay, so Joe Garon had asked, you were just saying you minding your own business there, and eventually went by Labib. So it seems as Labib had run out of fuel. So comes to my second question there in regards to race strategy. You were out there for a very long time on those hard tires. First of all, how
Yes.
did you make it do that? And second of all, what was the idea behind the strategy?
Well, that wasn't the strategy I was coming in with. I wanted to do hard mediums, but at the beginning of the race, I got taken out by a Mercedes. That was going pretty slow. Siggy.
Yep.
So yeah, I got taken out, had to fight up through the field, and there's no way I was going to catch them, so I was just praying for a safety car. And I just went as long as I could, took him to 72%, and I just went on softs. I was settling for P3, and then the thing happened with Labib. So,
A P3 result
Labib.
is already an excellent result given the circumstances, and gifted a P2 result in the end. And I mean, we're gonna take those extra points. We definitely weren't expecting that. Calling it in the commentary here. So congratulations on the P2, Joe Garon, and congrats on putting that Red Bull up there on the second stop.
thank you. Nice to hear from you again, Ranger. Welcome
It's
back.
been a pleasure. All right, I'm gonna bring in Rigraff here. All right, Mr. Rigraff, congratulations on yet another win on the Brazilian Grand Prix. Does that
Hey.
win feel great, or does it feel a little bit sour given the situation that happened right behind you with your Ferrari partner?
Yeah, that's crazy. We didn't even know what had happened because he had left chat, and yeah, we realized he had run out of fuel. So yeah, that's such a bummer. But it was only, I think, 3 points was the difference, so not too big of a deal. But yeah, definitely a bummer.
Yeah, I believe it's not the way, it's not the points that mattered here in this situation, but more the way it happened. I think Louis was a little bit upset with himself at that moment. Let's talk about your race. You guys both seem to be running away with it right off the bat. You had an extraordinary start off the launch. Were you guys? What were the team orders? Was there any team orders? Were you guys racing each other at some point? I don't feel like we talked a lot about you guys because you were so far ahead.
Yeah, there were times we were kind of talking as kind of deciding, well, maybe I was faster, maybe Labib was faster, and since we were so far ahead, we just chilled out, and then Labib got the time penalty, so then that's kind of when we decided to switch later on. But then I ended up getting one, so.
Exactly. When you did get your time penalty, was that a moment where you guys told each other you were racing again?
Yeah, it was full back on at that point. Yep. So at that point I was just trying to maintain the gap to Labib, but yeah, it's fun times.
Absolutely. So, given that so far Ferrari and the constructors are so far ahead in the points, and yours increased your lead in the standings for the drivers and constructors again, is your idea just to keep racking in the rims until the end of the season, or?
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. My goal every week is just points. That's what my main goal is for combined. So, yep. Honestly,
So how many hours of practice must you put aside every week to be able to keep getting those P1 positions like that and be on top of the race?
That's actually a good question, because I did not, like, if you asked me Sunday, I was not confident at all at this track, but I put in the practice to gain the confidence and finally found a setup that I liked. So, it's a good point. Yeah, I mean, I need a few hours every week for sure just to get confident in the track. I feel like the confidence goes a long ways in this one.
Yeah, that showed in this race. Freddy Raz, did you have any questions or?
Not really. I'm just a bit tired right now. Just trying to wait till this is over.
Thanks for hanging out, Raz, with us. Thank you, Rick Raff. Congratulations once again for the win tonight. You're gonna have a good night's sleep, I bet.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right, good night.
I will.
Bye.
All right, everyone. That was Division 4. Starting off the weekend, and yeah, I was mentioning earlier the D3, D2, D1, but let's not forget Division X, which, if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to forget all the details, but I believe they race at noon Saturday, so ZRL is gonna be back on live for Division X. 3 division races tomorrow, Saturday, so very busy day in such regards. Thanks for hanging out with us and pulling through with the technical difficulties, and me being a little rusty as a commentator. But that was John Ranger and Freddie Razzle commenting D4 race for you guys. Bid you a good night, and make sure to like, subscribe if you haven't, and we'll see you again tomorrow for some extra races. Good night, everyone.